One of the biggest problems a major kitchen renovation could ever encounter is not considering the heating and cooling system and how it will be affected. If we didn't address and resolve the heating and cooling system, the project wouldn't be complete. What we don't want in the end is for this space to not heat and cool consistently with the rest of the home. Part of remodeling this kitchen, we got rid of some old style 70s soffits. Those drop down soffits were removed here, and you can see that there's damage still to be resolved with our new drywall. It's not magic when two sheets of drywall come to a point where they didn't line up before, but that's some of the most essential work with this project. So you can see that we have some new drywall boards installed, and with some of the old plaster and lath still up there, we will mud and sand and correct this issue. There may be some additional board removal needed for this to come together. But when we're done, no one will know there was ever a seam here. Professional drywallers have the ability to build up a transition with mud, fan it out so that a 1/4 inch differentiation blends to 0. The art of installing new drywall to tie into existing plaster is a tricky transition for anyone. And we have the skill, patience, and experience to nail this detail. This will be one of the most noticeable improvements to this new design, where we've completely eliminated soffits, which divided the rooms in space and separated them. Now, all the ceilings flow through, and once completed, they'll all appear to be the same height as if they were that way always. Designing a space is a lot of work, and there are endless things to consider to create a successful outcome. One of the biggest problems a major kitchen renovation could ever encounter is not considering the heating and cooling system and how it will be affected. This kitchen involved design changes, structural and carpentry edits and alterations. We added space and reworked things, adding a ton more cabinets, making this so much more useful. And if it weren't for the heating and cooling system upgrades, we'd be missing a very important segment, a very important part of this kitchen. If we didn't address and resolve the heating and cooling system, the project wouldn't be complete. This particular home has a boiler. That's the alternative to a furnace. And so a boiler uses water to heat the space. This home has a boiler system with several baseboard heating elements. The design that we came up with required us to take out and remove several of the baseboard boiler heating elements. What we don't want in the end is for this space to not heat and cool consistently with the rest of the home. It's for that reason that we sought out these wonderful twin flow toe kick heaters. Now, these toe kick heaters are powered by gas. They have electrical for the motor. When these small heaters turn on, they deliver heat to the space, and they fit underneath the cabinet. So these are concealed and out of the way. They're much more attractive than the old baseboard style heaters. We did the calculation, and this will actually produce more heat than what we removed, ensuring that this new room is not the cold place in the home, but rather the warmer one. There are settings that we can adjust this so we can make it warmer or we can make it cooler in here. And we were able to tie in the electrical to the existing home's thermostat. So these run in harmony with the other water-based heaters that are ran off of this boiler system. Boiler systems are challenging to work with, and most builders aren't familiar or confident in that. This particular family loves their boiler system, and they love the heat that it produces, and so they didn't want just a furnace or a mini split or an electric baseboard heater installed. And this is the best way to heat this space. It wasn't easy, it wasn't cheap, it took a lot of work, but this is going to be one of the most memorable parts of this remodel, and we're so proud to have these beautiful toe kick heaters installed. While we have the walls open, we have free range to run wires where we need them, pipes, vents, and to design all the systems that are going to operate for decades. Missing a detail like an outlet or a water line would be a huge mistake that would create delays and complications and may even cause a newly remodeled kitchen to have to be busted back open again. And so the most important work actually on this entire job is what's concealed inside the walls. And this is where we get a chance to really shine, because it's through months of planning and thought and collaborations that we've developed a ready to finish room here that we're confident in is air sealed, is insulated, is vented, and everything here will meet and exceed code. These toe kick heaters are not used a lot because they are difficult to install and expensive. What we did to make sure this was an install that would be a success is we worked with our HVAC technician to do the calculations for how much area and how much heat was needed. And we roped in the manufacturer's rep to also collaborate on this. I'm the builder, my plumber, my HVAC guy, my electrician, and the rep from the manufacturer here, these toe kick heaters, all worked together to make sure that we had the right size units ordered, that we had the right amount of amperage with our electricity, that the size of the pipe work was correct, and the distance from the boiler, from the gas. Everything had to be specified properly for these toe kick heaters to operate correctly. Initially, we were planning on using baseboard heaters again that would run on water. Our concern and our homeowners is that at the end of this project, we didn't want this space to struggle to keep up with consistent temperatures inside. And so for that reason, we sought out a better option. Baseboard heaters would be cosmetically unattractive, and they would have to be installed at the base of the cabinets, and no one wants that. These heaters actually are concealed in the toe kick of the cabinet. They're out of the way, they're out of sight, and they're out of mind. And all our homeowners will notice when they walk in is their beautiful cabinetry. There are so many elements to remodeling an existing home, and we didn't remodel this entire home, just a few rooms of it. And so through the process of updating the electrical, the HVAC, the plumbing, we talk with several inspectors, we review different codes and make determinations of what's necessary. This home did not have hardwired smoke alarms, and it's really important that a home has hardwired smoke alarms so that if ever a fire starts, and the kitchen is typically where fires can start, everyone in the home would be notified immediately, because with hardwired smoke detectors, they all turn on if one turns on. Just imagine you burn some French fries, a small fire start, and everyone in the home is immediately notified. This is to ensure that everyone's able to get out safely and that the fire could be extinguished in a short of period of time as possible to minimize damage. We wanted to put as large of a window here as we could, and by doing that, the countertop almost completely will finish off into this window frame. Because of that, our outlets here are going to be a specialty kind that actually open from the countertop, and they'll have stone countertop material finishing them. That's why these boxes are on an angle here, and that's unique and special because the larger the window, the more light you get in here. That's going to be what this homeowner remembers. This is exactly the center of the sink, and so this is going to be the perfect place for our users to enjoy the space over and over again. They'll be at the sink and using the faucets and washing and cleaning and preparing. The process of planning and following up and coordinating creates the scenario where we have all the answers we need so that we can perform our rough installations with confidence, knowing that we won't have to redo things. The so-called competition mostly prides themselves in not pulling permits, not having inspections. Their big advertise is a kitchen's done in 5 days. And so in 5 days, no one could design a plan where everything were positioned and placed where it needed to be, where all the codes were considered and the best decisions were made for each element. They're just putting in new cabinets, but we're designing an entire new space. Here's the problem with a 5-day kitchen remodel. There are so many elements to change, improve, and design that it can't be done in 5 days. We've spent weeks and actually months working through all the elements of this kitchen remodel. We're moving things around, putting cabinets where they weren't before, reworking space. We even expanded into the garage and borrowed space from there. That way this new kitchen will be sized appropriately for how this family uses it today. In a 5-day kitchen remodel, here's what you can expect. Cabinets removed, new cabinets brought in. Countertops removed, new countertops installed. Perhaps new backsplash tile, perhaps new flooring. Coat of paint, handshake, and it's done. Your window that's old and small will still be old and small. Where there's electrical insufficiencies, they'll still be insufficient. If you get new appliances, your electrical wouldn't meet code. All the locations are fixed where they currently are. You can't change anything with a 5-day kitchen remodel other than just the cabinetry and the finishes. What's behind the walls is what's most essential with a proper kitchen remodel. You want a new sink, you want a different style of layout, you want to use this space differently than how it was before, and it's for that reason a 5-day kitchen remodel is insufficient. We often find electrical flaws and issues inside the wall. Insulation is inadequate behind the drywall. So there's so many things to uncover and resolve behind the walls that gets missed when you do a 5-day kitchen remodel.